Because of the disease AIDS. Channel 7's Lisa Stark is standing by now in the newsroom with details about the impact Hudson's death has had on public awareness about AIDS. Lisa?
Well, Cheryl, Rock Hudson was hardly an AIDS crusader. It is likely he would never have publicly admitted that he had the disease. But when he was ultimately forced to do just that, the impact was enormous.
Without any doubt, the diagnosis and the announcement that Rock Hudson had AIDS was the most significant turning point in the history of this epidemic.
He was a matinee idol, America's leading man. The world first learned Hudson had AIDS after he collapsed while undergoing treatment in France.
Mr. Rock Hudson has acquired immune deficiency syndrome.
Tonight, ABC dramatized the Rock Hudson story, his career, his hidden homosexuality, his illness.
Everyone knows, don't they?
It was on the news.
Reporter Randy Schultz has covered the AIDS story since 1982. Hudson's death, he says, made AIDS a household word.
Before Rock Hudson, you didn't have, President Reagan never talked about AIDS. The newspapers very rarely wrote about AIDS outside of San Francisco. Television didn't cover it. Nobody paid attention. No celebrity would go near it. Rock Hudson gets diagnosed with AIDS. Bang, all of a sudden, it's on the front page of every newspaper in the world.
The publicity brought money and progress in the fight against AIDS, but the war goes on. Hudson died in 1985. Then 20,000 Americans, 1,800 San Franciscans, were dead or dying of AIDS. By November of last year, the numbers had increased fivefold.
Where have we come since then?
Well, as far as attention, a great deal of attention, but now I think we're seeing a great deal of apathy, both in the media and the public.
Silverman believes AIDS will never burst onto the front page as forcefully as it did with Hudson's death. He worries Americans believe the epidemic is tapering off.
And I fear that if there's public apathy, if it continues, and the Congress doesn't feel pressured by its constituency, and the administration, which hasn't felt the pressure very much at all, it certainly has not been proactive, then funding will decrease.
The face of AIDS has changed since Hudson's death. There are more minorities, babies, and drug addicts infected. Silverman worries that funding for these groups will be especially hard to come by. And by the way, the organization that he heads, the American Foundation for AIDS Research, started with a loan from Rock Hudson, $250,000. Hudson made that loan after his illness became public knowledge. Back to you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Sports, and